Not every interaction of cameras in a black person's household needs to be an episode of Mocha Love. Honestly, that Vaseline, guys, saved us from Impy during this conversation. Proper. And you know when he said it with his chest out, stomach in. Ali sexy Bianca. Woo. Beautiful black man healing. What more do you want? Have a just oh guys, these men are melting my heart. The Zulu men, the black men. Get off of Twitter because these people are healing. Okay, Twitter is going to show you just the cesspool and just like the dumpster fires that are happening all over this world. Them guys just seeing men being able to sit down with each other and talk to each other about the problems that they had and come out with a resolution. Jehovah! Siyabonga. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rakadi's Views with me, Rakadi Watsona. Welcome. You are all welcome. Come in. We are doing Kings of Maskandi, episode 6, which is this week's episode because your girl is catching up. Okay? And Maskandi Kings did not disappoint again in this episode. Guys, I will reiterate the Zulu men, the black men. Get off of Twitter because these people are healing. Okay, Twitter is going to show you just the cesspool and just like the dumpster fires that are happening all over this world. But if you want examples of people actually doing the work, they are taking accountability for the things that they have done wrong. They are taking responsibility to correct them. Guys, just seeing men being able to sit down with each other and talk to each other about the problems that they had and come out with a resolution. Jehovah! Siyabonga. Siyabonga. Demonstration for the nation. Get your friends, family members, everybody. If they don't want to watch the full episode, send them these reviews. But Maskandi Kings will show you guys this. I'm a daughter. Men are trash. Yes, there's lots of things that are happening out here. There's a lot of trash-like behavior. But there are also people who have heard the call to stand up and fix their lives and to mend their relationships with their family members. What is broken, let's put it back together. Jehovah, we testify for Kings of Maskandi. Welcome to episode 6. Let's get into it. So we start off with Usanele. Sanele has asked for a family meeting at his grandmother's home. So it's him and his brother. So we see Sanele's older brother, who actually looks very much like Sanele, just a slightly darker version, but they've got the same little head and like they've got the same little cute features on their face. They both have these baby faces. And so Sanele's there, it's the grandmother, it's his brother, and it's this producer, Kabela, that he asked to come with him, and some other character who we don't know who's also there. And Sanele basically opens up the meeting explaining to his grandmother, the reason that he's here is because there's this rift between him and his brother. And he's here to understand what went wrong, to understand what is his role in the breakdown, essentially, and to hear from his brother. What his side of the story is. So the brother then says that, basically there was a day where, because him and the brother used to be a duo, a music duo, so they started singing together in the industry. The brother said that they were invited to a radio station. I don't know if it was for an interview or for a performance, but essentially the brother says that he was then told to get out of the studio and to leave. So we don't know what the circumstances were. Were there too many people inside the studio at the time? Were they only really wanting to hear from Usadele, not the brother at the time? But essentially, the brother was asked to leave. So brother says that is what broke his heart, because when he was asked to leave, he was like, you, Usanele, as my brother, what really upset me is that, you said nothing. You didn't fight for me to not leave that room. And secondly, you didn't even come after me. You didn't leave with me. And he's like, and I had to get on a taxi, Kili one, And I was crying the whole way home on the taxi ride, Kiliwan, because you didn't stand up for me. You didn't do anything for me. Then Usanele's like, bruh, like, I know, I remember that happened, and I pleaded with you to stay. But then Usanele was like, also, as soon as this happened, we were live on radio. So he was like, I couldn't just walk out and like chase after you and ask you to stay because we live, there's dead air. So he's now supposed to either be speaking or, singing a song or whatever it was that they were there to do. So, in his diary session, he's like, I couldn't just walk out and find out what was going on. The show had to go on. Then Ugogo's like, okay, you, Kabela producer, you were there. And Gogo's like, as far as I'm concerned, I think you are the one who's to blame for this rift that exists between these two brothers. So tell me what your perspective is. Ugabela says, listen, for him, it's his job to produce. If somebody comes to him and says that, I want you to help me and produce my music in the industry, he's like, I'm going to do that job. And Usanele explained as well, Uguti, when he started out, he was like, we started out, me and my brother together. But like, I also wanted to branch out into doing this thing by myself. So he's like, I wanted to be Beyonce, but I was still part of Destiny's Child. We were still pushing Destiny's Child, but I also wanted to try Beyonce. And so Camela was like, essentially, if somebody comes to me and says they want to be Beyonce, I am assuming that they've had a conversation together as to how that's going to work and what's going to happen. So Ukabela was like, it's not my responsibility. I'm assuming everybody's adults here and they've spoken to each other in the way that they need to. Now my job is to do the music and to do what I was asked to do, which was to help Beyonce with her solo career. Um, and so then eventually Sanele's like, you know what? He asks for forgiveness and he apologizes to his brother for the mistakes that he's made. And he owns his part in things having broken down. His brother says that he accepts his apology and he's still upset, but accepts the apology. The brother also then asks for forgiveness from his side. Just Oh, guys, these men are melting my heart. Melting my heart beautifully. Beautifully. This was beautiful communications because, I mean, Ugogo was playing her role to facilitate. But I think Sanele came in there already wanting to have this resolution and this bond back with his brother. And I think he was really just willing to accept that, I contributed to this, whatever it was. And I think the brother also, they were both just, reaching out for each other. So brother also apologized. He also asked for forgiveness and asked, let's set up another meeting so that we can sit and talk and then speak about how we're moving forward. Then they did a little like awkward handshake, and then you could see Gogo was like pushing brother, just be like, hug your brother. And they hugged each other, and it was beautiful. We love to see this, guys. We love to. Not every interaction of cameras in a black person's household needs to be an episode of Mocha Love. This is beautiful. Beautiful. Actually, guys, I'm gonna see if I can find this Maralo. I did a Maralo gif. Yeah, you're beautiful. It's beautiful. Beautiful. I love, love, love. Get into Maskandi Kings. Anyway, then we go to Abafana Bagangumeni. And in this episode, we're doing the next Imbizo. And this is happening in Newcastle. So it's Abafana Bagangumeni who are hosting. So they want to do this activation where they're basically blasting music out of a van. I think that's probably going to be driving around the streets of Newcastle. But like, boo, 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 it doesn't happen because the sound system just is not working. Apparently, there's a wire somewhere that's not wiring. They don't know what's happening. Nelisali's on the phone, I think, with the person they procured the sound system from. That guy's not trying to hear it, and I don't think he's trying to refund them either. So the activation basically is a flop. And then they decide, okay, let's go to the venue where the Mbizo is going to be the next day. So they go there with Usanele, because Sanele is also from Enyukasela. And then Sanele is there with the baguette, with water, and I'm sure Imiti. and he's just, wahasha mole, wahasha on the soil, and basically just, welcoming in good vibes only, chasing away the bad energy, and so that there's no aggression and no fighting the next day, and that everybody can just be calm and pola and chill. And those things are very important, guys, when people are gathering. For those of you who don't know, who don't do, who don't believe, I'm just saying, even just pray for some water or hashemole before people come together, because hey, not everybody comes to things with good intentions. So they're out doing that. Kulegani MC shows up while they're doing that. Handshakes. Are we ready for tomorrow? Essentially, everybody's geared up. It's the next day, and you kasela. It's the day of the Mbizo, which is a Sunday. So they all gather, go Abafana Baganumeni's like homestead, and everybody arrives, all the guys and their supporting acts, their mentees, they all get there. Kulegani Shongwe arrives and he is not happy because he was just like, my brother. So he's speaking to Kulegani MC. I'm just going to call him MC for short because I can't. So Kulegani saying to the MC that, like, listen, this transport situation was a mess and like a fuck up, my bruh, because he's like, he had to arrange his own transport in the middle of the night, and that's why he got here so late. And he's like, MC, what's going on? Your communication was not great. Then MC's like, you know what? I apologize. I take the blame. Even though you didn't call me. He's like, nobody called me to tell me that there was an issue with the transport. And the MC's like, yes, it's my job to set up logistics. But he's like, when it comes to things like transport, once the transport is organized and then the issue of payment and money comes in, he's like, that's where I step back, because that's where you need to now negotiate with this person. And so I don't know what happened then in that three-way conversation around money, pickup times, whatever. But you could see Kulegani Shongwe, Mr. Shongwe was not happy about what was going on. And clearly things were getting tense. And so Uba Hube was busy there with some Vaseline on his lips. And when things got tense, then he came and stood in between MC and Kulegani Shongwe and whipped out the little thing of Vaseline, the little container of Vaseline. And then everybody else started just mixing some Vaseline. And I think, honestly, that Vaseline, guys, saved us from Impy during this conversation. Proper. So, hats off to Mahube. Very, very perceptive man, actually. And I think he actually was able to, bring the energy down and avoid conflict in a very, very smart way. But I don't think, they weren't going to be throwing fists, but washing, but things were getting tense and heated. But what I liked was that MC was also like, listen, if you were having problems, you should have called me. I didn't get any calls. And he's like, I would have sorted it out. But Kulegani in his diary session was like, we're trying to call this guy. Couldn't get a hold of him. But MC was like, at the end of the day, I take it, the hit. It was my fault. Apologies. But you're here. Let's try and get the show on the road. We can't get the show on the road because now Unelisani from Abafana Baganumeni, he brings up the issue of actually, the first Mbizo that we had, he's not happy with the way things went because of the manga slippy business with the voting. I'm assuming that's what he's alluding to, because he also doesn't say straight out, like, I wasn't happy, 1, 2, 3. He just says, I wasn't happy. Excuse me, and if I had it my way, we do a redo of that whole event. So then Kulegani is like, well, listen, if a redo is what we're talking about, he's like, listen, we can go to Mtwalume today. I can call them and tell them we're coming to do an Mbizo and we can do a redo, because I think Kulegani, for him, it was an issue of pride that, like, you're basically telling me that I didn't win fair and square. And so let's do a redo so that when I beat you, you can know that I beat you fair and square. And he said it with his whole chest. whole chest, because I think for him it really was. It was an issue of pride and it was an issue of integrity. And so he's like, let's go and do the redo. And you know when he said it with his chest out, stomach in. Ali sexy young guys. Woo. This man, guys. Oh, Lord. Anyway. Then Nelisani's brother steps in, light skinned soprano, and he's like, no, there really was like some issues going on backstage. It's not about us doing, going to Ntwalume today. But I also was not happy with the way that things worked out. Backstage things were happening that we weren't happy with. Then Kulegani says in his diary entry that, like, listen, this stuff that they're talking about that happened backstage, I heard about it after the fact, because whatever people were seeing backstage, it was happening while I was on stage performing. So I didn't see what they saw. And then he was like, then the MC called all the other artists onto the stage after my performance. I think that was when they were going to announce the winner. And none of them came. So Bahube, Abafana, none of them came onto the stage with me. So he was like, and I didn't understand why nobody was on the stage. And to this day, no one's given me an explanation. But now 2+2, it's whatever was happening backstage, which he still doesn't know. But maybe that's where the match fixing was happening backstage and the voter fraud was happening there. But he was like, bruh, I was performing. I didn't see these things. And I think there's a bit of a frustration that I share with Kulegani, because for me, it's also like, if you're going to raise these issues that you're frustrated, which are valid, and if there's things that you were seeing that were fraudulent, okay, but what do you want to happen? Because if you are saying, let's go and do a redo, then let's schedule another date to go and redo Mbizo number one, Kontwalume. But to just stand there and say, I wasn't happy, and then these are the accusations, but you don't want anything to be done, but then you're still going to complain about what happened. And then, in a way, besmirch this guy's, Kulegani's integrity. I'm also like, I'm not sure what you want to happen, or if this is just that we want to put it on the table that none of us were happy. But it just felt like a bit like an unresolved conversation. It was going around in circles a little bit, and then that's when like MC stepped in and he was like, "Yeah, Zin guys, let's focus on what we're here to do today, which is to entertain, and let's get our performances ready so that we can give the people a good show in Newcastle." And, he's like, I'll look into the matter further because I want everybody to, be at ease and, everybody's hearts to just be light. Let's not be heavy. Which, high five, MC. And even in this tense situation of this conversation, I think I really like the fact that they could at least talk to each other. There were no raised voices. There were no fists. There were no threats. Like, this is, and what I liked is that, their mentees, those other three guys, Bo, Sanele, Mpupe, and Makazi, can see, and this is a demonstration for them that we can disagree and have a conversation around it. We might not get everything resolved in this one conversation, but as men, we can talk. We can hear each other out without talking over each other, without becoming overly aggressive, without becoming violent. Demonstration for the nation. Love it. Go Kings. Then it's time for the performances. Listen, I'm going to give it to MC Kulegani. That stage design was so cute. Super, super, super cute. Whoever did that, high five. Okay, they did that. It was very nice. Stage, beautiful, solid, stable. All the pieces were glued together. It was looking like stable. You can get that here for the gods and nothing's going to happen to you. So I think from that perspective, wonderful job was done. And then we even saw Sanele. Also, Sanele brought his brother to this performance. And it was cute because then Abafana Bagangumeni was speaking to Usanele and the brother. And they were like, when we were first looking for a mentee, we chose Usanele, but we knew that there was a duo. But when we then met him, he just came by himself and we were wondering, Uguti, where's the other person? Then the brother just basically explained that, like, we went our separate ways at some point. And I like that Abafana were also encouraging them to be like, listen, we're also brothers and we work together. And, basically the road might not always be smooth, but you need to just be able to rely on each other and support each other as brothers. And if whatever endeavor you're pushing is not working out, like, do not be afraid to ask your brother for help. You know what I mean? You are blood, you're from the same family, and just stick it out. And that's what I love about this season and this episode as well, is that, you have these two duos who are mirroring each other. And you have the older guys who are really being mentors, not just in terms of the music and performance, but in terms of life and how to navigate actually being in this industry and how to be a man who carries themselves. They might have been up to, guys, real some fuck shit in their past. We don't know. Maybe even in their present. But the one thing I will keep on applauding all of them for, all of the kings of Maskandi for, is that they are trying in the ways that they can to be a demonstration, and to teach and to grow, and they're investing in others, watering these gardens of just young talent. Beautiful. Then Sanele's brother, we see he even got onto the stage with his little guitar, and he also had a little performance, and you can see Sheba Butiwa Bato was so happy. So happy to be back on stage. We're happy for him too. He performed, then who came out? Magazi performed, doing some sort of like 90s era gyrations and like hip thrusts on the stage. Wasn't for me, personally. The outfits were great, but like that dancing was just in the rurals, like we're doing this in front of children. I don't know. Not my cup of tea. Mpupe then also went on, and Shem went about to DJ Shem umujisite habotoko, because DJ played the wrong music, and then the sound also wasn't like all the way on 100% during his performance. So he was very disappointed with how he performed. It didn't go great. And that threw him off. And then the last performance that we saw was Sanele, who was very nervous. But when he went on the stage, he waited, he gave it his everything. Once again, I'm just going to ask the question because, when we pan back with the camera view, guys, Sanele, like in relation to just the height and the weight of his dancers, how old is this guy? Like, just anybody know? Let me know, because how old is he? How old is he legal age to just be out here like working the circuit? That's all I need to know, just for my comfort level. But other than that, that was all I have for this episode of Maskandi Kings. It was beautiful. It was beautiful once again. And we're happy to see the Mbizo going on. So next episode, the Mbizo carries on, and it seems like this drama with Abafana Bagangumin. So I don't know, whatever they were hashing, they were hashamole from that bucket in the venue. I don't know if it was doing the things. It seems like it might not have been doing the things. But I will see you next week for that review, my beautiful darlings. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to like and to share. Oh, guys, people just need to be watching this show. Beautiful black man. Healing. What more do you want? Have a fabulous, fabulous weekend ahead. Spread love, not hate. Cheers from Rakadi.